I woke up to the news this morning that the South Korean president had declared martial law, and that immediately sent chills through my spine. I'm like, no, to lose two Koreas. North Korea is a dictatorship. To lose South Korea, I haven't done enough research on it yet, but I'm going to get into that to see prayerfully that they are good and that this does not descend into some dictatorship and them joining the side of North Korea. And then in Georgia, we have pro-Putin officials backing the authoritarian movement that is there in terms of the protesters protesting against what's happening. We also have the situation in Russia where there's literally an authoritarian government with Vladimir Putin attacking Ukraine, trying to steal their land when that is their rightful country, trying to annex a nation. In Argentina, they have Javier Milei, the conservative right-wing president who has campaigned on literally taking a chainsaw to the system of government. He has revoked a lot of rights there. He was given the Project 2025 agenda by conservatives last year, and he's implementing it there right now. Italy has a right-wing prime minister, and the United States just elected a literal convicted felon who said he wants to terminate the Constitution and be a dictator on day one as president of the United States. All of this is so deeply concerning, and it's jarring given the fact that I just wrote my book, Resistance, a strategic guide on how to fight back, defend democracy, and avoid a Trump dictatorship. We have to get serious and get real about this. Dictatorships are rising all across the world, and we are not immune from that type of authoritarian government. We need to be prepared. Once again, the book is called Resistance. It's an ebook, and the audiobook is also available. This is a must-have on how we can get it together and resist this authoritarian movement that's happening globally. Today, the South Korean president declared martial law, declaring effectively his enemies to be pro-North Korean and siding with North Korea, and that they were somehow wrong and anti-democratic. Well, he's actually the conservative president of North Korea who actually has a scandal-ridden administration in South Korea investigated for inappropriateness and just impropriety. So the South Korean Democratic Party just put out a statement, I'm going to play the video for you here shortly, saying that, yeah, martial law may have been lifted, but that's not enough. You need to leave completely. What you did, in effect, is treason.
계엄을 해제한다 해도 내란죄를 피할 수 없습니다. 윤 대통령은 더 이상 정상적인 국정 운영을 할 수 없음이 온 국민 앞에 명백히 드러났습니다. 자리에서 내려와야 합니다. 즉시 하야 하라. 국민의 명령이다.
What happened in South Korea today is exactly what happened in America in 2021 when Trump incited an insurrection using his supporters to go to the Capitol to stay in power because he did not like the results of the election because he lost it. What happened today in South Korea is the South Korean conservative president was so affected by the investigations into him. He didn't like that they were investigating the corruption that he declared martial law. And what happened today, and what's the difference between South Korea and America, is that far-right right-wingers were not helping storm the Capitol. We had South Koreans protesting and fighting for democracy, clashing with the military to ensure that parliament would not be overtaken and that a dictatorship would not go into effect in South Korea. It is reverse January 6th. Dictatorships are rising all around the world. But do not underestimate the pro-democracy movements. Do not underestimate civilians who are willing to fight and die for their democracy. And that is why I wrote a new book. It's called Resistance. It is exactly for this moment. It has 7 rules on how to get through what we are about to go through with the second Trump administration in terms of Project 2025 and authoritarian government. Definitely get your copy now. It has historical context and 7 rules on how to get through this. Democracy won in South Korea today. After their president declared martial law, South Koreans said no way. This is extremely emotional and empowering considering what's currently going on around the world with just the rise of dictatorships and what's about to happen in the United States with Trump being pro-authoritarian. And this is exactly why I wrote my book Resistance, because the answer to authoritarianism to stop it is mass resistance. My book is called Resistance, a strategic guide on how to fight back, defend democracy, and avoid a Trump dictatorship. We can all take lessons from what just happened in South Korea. A conservative president investigated, didn't like that, so he incited an insurrection by declaring martial law. Incredible resistance today from South Koreans. We salute you for protecting your democracy and your rights.